the topic is all about onboarding and offboarding. Yeah. So I first of all thank you all of you to join this session on this, specifically a weekend wherein we have other plans. But yes, you have joined this session. And about introductory part of our two speakers today. So we have Rashmi Kukade from Knowzies Technology Solutions Private Limited. So I would request Rashmi to, introduce herself, give some insights about herself first. Over to you, Rashmi.
Thanks, Radha. Thanks for giving me the time to, first of all, thank you for Company Bench for inviting us over here for a discussion. It's always better to hear what others experience, and, we can always collaborate and
Right.
learn from everyone's experiences. So,
Right.
hi, everyone. A good afternoon. I should not say a good morning. Right now, it's still 11:30. Soon to be afternoon on a weekend. The monsoon is also very nice outside, so most probably everyone must be planning for a trip or something. But thanks for coming. And I'm Rashmi Kukade. I have been I should call myself Nama Punite. Born and brought up from Mumbai suburbs. I completed my education uh, in graduation in Mumbai from Mumbai University. Then after marriage came to Pune, and now it's almost 20 years that I have been staying in Pune. I started my career a bit late. It's exactly the opposite thing what happened. Everyone usually goes after their career, after education, then career, and then marriage. I took a break in between. I took a different track, I should say. After my graduation, I got married and then started my career. And yes, I enjoy what I do. Basically, I'm a people person. I love interacting with people. I like listening to their stories, like to learn from them. Very curious mentality. I ask a lot of questions. Everyone says I talk a lot and ask a questions a lot,
That's great.
but somehow it has helped me in working in this profile as an HR.
Yeah.
Basically, the two things which are needed are communication and
Okay.
empathy
Hmm.
per se, to understand others.
Yeah.
So I had a journey of around 10 plus experience of working in various industries. Currently, I
Yes.
am working with Knowzies since will be completing almost 3 years soon.
That's great.
And this is, yeah, and this is a very niche industry, a very upcoming industry. Very few people know
Yes.
about it. We work in the e-learning industry. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to work with Knowzies.
Oh,
That's about me.
that's really great. And yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rashmi. So, yeah, we have other speaker. Her name is Rati
Yeah,
Choundawar.
hello everyone. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, from Param Business Solutions. So, yes, Rati, please help. Please, let us know something about yourself.
Yeah, I will tell it shortly. My name is Rati and I am from Maharashtra, and I done my graduation in BSc Biology. After that, want to something like a management field, so move to MBA administrative work,
Okay.
and my done MBA done with Pune University. After that,
Hmm.
I joined some operation based companies, production based company, then non IT, then
Great.
pharmaceutical. So I
Yes.
have overall the mix match mix experience.
Yes.
So
Almost all the industries.
yeah. Then after I turn in IT field because it's on boom nowadays. So I feel something innovative, something productive in IT. I don't have background from IT, but I feel it's better to
Yeah.
improve or explore my knowledge in IT. So I move with IT as HR. I am here.
Okay.
Yeah, and have much experience, 7+ years.
Yeah. Great.
That's it.
Yes, thank you very much, Rati. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank you.
this, helping us out to know you. Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah. as I mentioned earlier, so today's topic is all about onboarding and offboarding. Yeah. So
Yes.
I can say that every person on this world remembers what is the start, how was the start, and how was the end. Okay, even if we go to see a film in the anywhere we see, we remember the start and we remember the end. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
basically I can say onboarding and offboarding. So in today's industry, in today's time, these two things are very much crucial, I can say, and very much important too, from a company point of view. So we have certain practices. Yes, every company have their own practices, and everybody has their own way of handling these onboardings and offboardings. So yes, we have few questions with us, so we will be discussing around those questions. So my very first question goes like, which is more challenging, onboarding or offboarding? Yeah. So yes, Rati,
Yes. Yeah, I
I
will
would
explain.
ask you to. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, in IT companies, onboarding is more challenging because if company culture or assume requirement overshadows organizational needs and employee support, there are
Right.
several reasons why onboarding and hiring is difficult, but have a solution also. But I'm struggling every time. The some getting paperwork signed isn't straightforward. Face-to-face conversation because after after COVID, it's everyone in remote work, uh, so face-to-face conversation aren't an option. There can be some lack of engagement, I think. Then some time consuming process, and we all know the 2022 is a very competitive market, so it's very difficult to
Right.
someone explain how it is very impactful. And
Yes.
about the onboarding and offboarding, I will explain. It's two different opposite sides,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's the fundamental process of the
Mm-hmm.
spectrum.
Yeah.
We have previously called on offboarding is more like a divorce. I think it's a fun part, but uh, so
Yes. Yes.
on good terms, the ex-lover remain close friend. We can say.
Right.
Yeah, and onboarding is about
Right.
making sure the people is a part of the company. It's familiar
Yes.
within the organization and the culture of the company,
Mm-hmm.
with the staffing and
Hmm.
the employees. It about
Yeah.
the building the fundamentation of the
Yeah.
strong
Yeah.
bonding like process.
Yes.
Yes, the onboarding is leave their colleagues and company. So, and we can saying goodbye and stress-free faced exit to the employee is onboarding.
Mhm.
So it's very easy onboarding, but onboarding
Okay.
very challenging for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Rashmi, I would request you to give your insights on this.
I will say it's mixed feelings. I can say onboarding has its own challenges, offboarding has their own challenges. Uh,
Yeah.
any activity, you will have to face some or the other kind of difficulty in between.
Yes.
I agree with what Rati said was that, whenever a person comes in, the person is new to the organization, new to the culture, getting acclimatized to that environment. It used to be easier during the times when, everyone used to be in office.
Right.
We follow hybrid model where some of us work from office, some of us work remotely. So
Yes.
I also feel I agree to Rati's point that a lack of engagement is observed, and completing the documentation part or the induction or the
Mm-hmm.
trainings at least it can be managed, but the documentation part and getting everything in place for an
Hmm.
employee uh, becomes difficult, because if the person is the individual is working remotely, then
Hmm.
the only thing we have is connecting through internet, which is ideally you can't
Call
pressurize
or
anyone.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Right.
That is
Definitely.
about yeah. So I agree to what Rati says. Offboarding has the same challenges. I think because uh, like Rati said, it's a separation, right? We part ways.
Yeah.
So while parting ways, there are formalities to be completed, financials involved, company assets are involved. So
Yes.
completing everything smoothly without hurting anyone's feelings also faces new challenges.
Right.
Like I said, if it's in office, it's as simple as that. You have it, you keep it in the office, and complete all
Yes.
the documentation part, have a exit interview, and leave. But if it's remote, then again you have to go back and see and check if everything is done or not. Logistics are involved if a company
Yes.
property is to be returned.
Of
So
course. Of course.
it has
Like the
its
way
own
we
challenges.
give assets onboarding while onboarding the individual, again we have to
Same
take
ways we have
those,
to take
Yeah.
them.
take them back. Yes, that is something, we have to manage a
Yes.
lot in between. And
True.
yes, both states have their own challenges and their own aspects related to them. Yes. So going to the other question is, why it is important for an employee to have a good onboarding experience? Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
You
both of
want to
you.
answer, Rati?
Yeah. Okay, I will try to explain.
Yes, please.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, Onboarding is important because it compliant employees to their role, company philosophy, and what the company has to offer. Uh, so it's employee can get admin task out of the way, being making employees feel comfortable in the office. Means it's feel like a home, the like a family. So it's highly productive for the employee and the staffing also. It may helps to retain the new hires by making them feel like a member of a team, and it actually helps to for the company and the staff and other employees also. Then there's something making the emotional, physical bond between the candidate and the HR and management and everything. So the in operation and culture, the business making some bonding with, it's very important. That's it. And I
Okay.
think
Okay.
according to SHRM, five C's that is very important. Uh, so compliance, clarification, and some the accommodation. That the five C's very important.
Okay. Okay.
Culture of the company and connection between the candidate and the employee is very important.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's why the onboarding is important, I think.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, Rashmi, I would like to hear from you too on this.
Uh, what I feel is when it's the transition from candidate to an employee. So
Right.
whatever picture has been built up in the mind of that candidate regarding the work profile, regarding the company, it the onus falls on the company to at least come up to those expectations or go above that, because uh, even in today's world, first impressions does matter. And however we pres it's not about presenting or anything, but how we connect at the first instance. The employee engagement that happens during the onboarding process is very crucial in the future, the long term process, which will help the employee in employee retention, employee work efficiency, and team bonding, because it's all about teamwork. And it onboarding plays a more crucial importance now when it's remote, because everyone is working in isolated places. They are far away from each other. So uh,
We
onboarding
are not
process
able
becomes
to see, basically.
exactly, it's
We are
only
not able to
the
see. Yes.
correct. And it's basically the only way the people can connect is through the internet. and
Right.
it becomes very short channeled, I can say, for engaging employees. Because when you're in office, some or the other things are keep on happening. There's the physical presence, the body language, the toning, uh, the environment, the office infrastructure, everything comes into picture and helps us into keeping the employee engaged. But when
Right.
it's remote onboarding, uh, like Rati said, it is difficult, but still it's still become more and more important to keep them
It
engaged at the
is
first
more
instance.
of, yes, it is more of automatic, something
True.
which is very mechanical. I can say so. Yes, onboarding is something which is a first impression. We always say first impression is the last impression. So yes, that is something is very much important, wherein we can keep the employee engaged. Also, we can, as you said, Rashmi, like all together, like office infrastructure, people around us, we meet in person, we greet in person, so that has a different impact altogether. Yes, so onboarding is something which is really important for any company to go ahead with, and that has to be smooth, because on very first day, employee will be having a lot of questions in their mind, and if we do it in person and in good way, or if at all we address those all queries, of course employee will feel connected to the company. Yes, so which is, that's why the onboarding is very much important.
Important.
Yeah, it's like,
For everyone, HR, it's a challenge.
द मूवी ट्रेलर अच्छा था लेकिन मूवी तो बकवास निकली, ऐसा नहीं होना
Right.
चाहिए. It's like
Yes, yes. So yeah, going to the next question, as what should an HR professional consider when creating an employee onboarding or offboarding program? So, whenever HR is creating any planning of any employee onboarding program or offboarding program, so what an HR professional should consider? Yes, Rashmi, I would request you to start this time.
okay. Ideally, every organization has a policy or a plan in place, but what I feel is it has to be tweaked as per the candidate or the designation or the profile that we are handling. Because I feel uh, sometimes, like, we are dealing both the situations. We are working in a hybrid model. So if it's the offboarding or an onboarding of a person who is working from office, we have to follow one set of rules or one set of guidelines. And if the individual is remote, then we will have to follow a different set of guidelines. So that's the first thing we need to consider, that uh, what kind of profile or what kind of work model do they work in. And also the term of engagement of an employee matters a lot, I feel. Because mm, the longer the person has stayed with an organization, probably the longer, the bigger KT transfer, knowledge
Right.
transfer, or everything has to be done, or finding a replacement becomes that much more difficult. So I feel it has to be tweaked in between, but we can have a framework wherein, we follow those practices of boarding and onboarding.
Yeah,
Right.
I will add
Yes.
something. Means at the time of the process, we can consider the orientation, job specification, training, induction, follow-ups, then the
Yes.
culture of the management. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so it's commit to job, we can say.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I
Um.
also feel, getting the employee aligned with the company's vision and mission is also important.
Yes.
Because when we are defining the guidelines or the process we are going to follow during the onboarding, this becomes
Mm-hmm.
very crucial, that we need to include this particular thing, how to integrate that person's expectations with the company's goals. So
Hmm.
that also has to be considered. Then again, uh, the logistics part or the uh, induction or the trainings, and again the exit interviews, all these things
Hmm.
need to be considered while having that process in place.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Totally agree on this. Yes. So, moving to the other question,
Yeah.
how long should offboarding take and why it is important?
Um,
It is about offboarding now because that
okay.
is
Yeah. Yes.
onboarding is, yes, all smiley faces are there around you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they greet you and everything.
Yeah. I
Offboarding
will.
is something wherein, we are taking a part from that employee, wherein we have invested, not investment, but yes, we have somehow as a company, we have attached to that employee from company point of view,
Yes.
right? So yes, it is from my end, yes. For offboarding, I really don't like, nobody will like to
No.
do it, but yes, at some point in time we have to process it. So
Yes.
yes, why it is important and how how long should offboarding take?
Yeah, I will try to explain.
Yeah.
Onboarding employees in organization can differ from organization to organization. For any employee looking forward to start a new job, except think to more and at a good pace. As Rashmi said, the less formalities, better is the experience. Uh, and I would like to say why it is important because, as we say, first impression are very important, and they tend to last. But our last impression also the important for that employee. Uh, During employee journey, several moments that matter that means aren't stand out in our memory. They won't want to forget about the some bonding between the HR and the candidate. So we can say that employee we can save the negative impact to say the first day of work it's a fun event and indeed you are onboarding and it's fond of memories we can speak highly for their former employees then yes we don't work for us but we spend time with our organization means it really turn the positive impact of the company and the candidate also. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The again the main part is the security. Security
Yes.
means for some practical point of view, the um, paper outboarding, data security. That means, for example, sometimes happened the some file deleting. It may be hard to the organization. For all these, the security is very important. So make sure before the onboarding security it's important. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Rashmi, you
Yeah.
can speak more from your side.
I have had a lot of experience in this last year of offboarding. Any organization goes through phases, and as soon as the market has opened up, people left right and front. Everyone was running away with good offers to go, and it's always, it feels like पंछी अपने घर से उड़ के बाहर की दुनिया बनाने जा रहा है.
Right.
So I always feel that offboarding experience is highly critical in maintaining goodwill in the market because they become our brand ambassadors going ahead. And this is the best opportunity to wipe out any bad impressions or bad experiences they must be having, any individual that must be having, by giving a
Right.
very smooth and good experience during offboarding. So at Knowzies, we try to keep it as short as possible. Though the notice periods are, I will consider notice period a different part than the offboarding, because we try to keep it as a normal working day during the notice period, and only 2 to 3 days, 2 days max, we keep it for offboarding process to be completed, and then later on again the FNF part comes in. But
Hmm.
till the time the employee has already exited the organization. So keeping it short and sweet and giving good memories to part with will always help in building the goodwill, and which will automatically help us in recruiting new forces, because they become the brand ambassadors in the resource market.
Right.
So
Right.
that's how we try to keep it as short as possible, but sometimes it does take time.
Yes,
But
I could say, wow, wow, what a HR. Yes, that's why it's very important for us also.
yes, true.
Yes,
We
exactly.
also because they are going to spread the word how their experiences were when they go outside. And with the our industry especially is very small. I will say it's not specific for anyone, but the world is very small now, and it's always good to have good people to work with, and you may never know, they can be rehired, or they can work with us again in some part or in some way. So it's always good to part them on a good note.
Of course, definitely. Yes. This offboarding thing has its own process and build process, and yes, there will be, exit interview along with it, then getting feedbacks from the employees, like how was their experience, and to check on where are they going, why are they going, right? So all these things are captured in that particular discussion, I can say, or in that particular process. um, yes, and that also helps us in working on our whatever feedbacks we get from the employees, because at that point in time they speak up, basically, that how the company is and how it can improve on, right? So
Exactly.
yes, this is something which is giving a good experience even if employee
Impression.
is leaving the organization.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, moving on to the next question is, what should an HR professional consider when creating an employee offboarding process? I guess we have almost
It's
discussed the
similar to
same.
what we already
Yes,
had in
yes.
during the
Yes,
Same
onboarding and
questions
offboarding.
again. Yes.
yes, yes, right. So offboarding process is something wherein we are basically whatever we said like earlier, we are giving good experience to the employee on the last day. We are getting in touch, being in touch with the employee even if that person is on notice period, right? To check on how Katie is going on, how um, uh, you have any questions about whatever the entire process will be, explaining them the exit process, how it will be over system, in person, whatever it is, trying to check with the assets point of from that front as well, and still keeping the employee on a neutral normal mode. I can say so.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, those that has to be planned by the HR, by
The difference,
giving them
what yeah, the difference
mm,
during onboarding, this offboarding, onboarding has an advantage
mm,
because, like Rati said, though we face challenges, the employees is going to stay with us. Some or the
mm,
other time we can complete the formalities, but during the
mm.
offboarding process, it becomes very crucial. There's a deadline to happen, and we need to complete the whole process, and
Of course.
keeping up the maintaining the respect between each other,
Yes.
smoothing over everything that has been,
Hmm.
if any experiences are not so well or does
Right.
not go well with the employee. So
Right.
I feel that offboarding, has many crucial elements in it. The
Right.
company asset needs to be recovered. There's data security
Right.
to look into, passwords and keys or whatever, any additional things that needs to look into. Again, there's the exit interview or the testimonials, which I feel remotely now. Earlier, when we used to have a separate cabin where we could take uh, the exit interviews, we could have
Hmm.
confidential answers, we could have discussions from
Right.
the exiting employee. But right now it's
Right.
just a document to be filled in, wherein most of the time we don't get honest and frank opinions, because
Right.
this is the best way to learn and improve for an
Right.
organization from our past experiences.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it feels, there's a bit of, just becomes a dead critical formality to be completed, because the employee
Yes.
is in a hurry to go out and move on to the next journey,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
everything boils down and becomes very clinical.
Right.
So
Right.
it becomes,
That's why I
difficult to
said
take it.
the onboarding is like a honeymoon period and offboarding is like a divorce.
Ah. Right. That's
Yes,
right. That's
exactly.
right.
I
That's
feel
right.
every time same.
Um. Uh. Like I have one question. One we have one question from the current participants actually. So the participant is asking, why isn't offboarding smooth? Yes.
As we
Why
said,
isn't
because
offboarding
it's
smooth?
a positive impact of the company and HR also. So it's very must for the other employee, other staffing also to improve the relation between management and employee after hearing their existing staff. So I think it's a smooth onboarding is important.
My question to that participant would be why it was not smooth, because though we face challenges, it can be smooth. The only thing is
Mm.
that there are many more, like I said, there is a
Aspects
deadline to
associated with that.
aspects,
Yes.
and there's a deadline. But still, the
Yeah.
process can be smooth if the we are, good at communicating and setting out clear expectations, and
Right.
explaining to that individual what is going to happen, when it is going to happen, how it is going to happen, who
Yes.
can help you in that.
And why this
And
happens basically?
so,
Why
yes,
why we say that yes, it will take 45 minutes, 45 days or 60 days to complete this process. There
correct,
is
correct.
something attached
Keeping the
every time.
transparency will always
Yes.
help. And yes,
Yes.
it though there are challenges, the experiences are smooth enough. It's all about how you maintain the rapport with the individual,
The employee.
because
Yeah.
like I said, they are our brand ambassadors, right? So
Yes.
we usually keep a send off or an exit interview or something, they can part away with good memories, and that
Yes.
itself, helps you out, in rubbing out everything that was, it acts like an eraser for us actually.
Yes. Yes. And exit is always not at times not on a very good note as well, due to
True.
some or the other reason. We, being from HR domain, yes,
There
we
are a
have to
number of
face the
reasons,
same
people
n
part
number of
ways.
reasons.
But
Yes, still
whenever,
we have
we
to.
accept this part that it's the individual's decision, you cannot force anyone. It always has to be a voluntary association. It's not, we don't do contracts or bonds. So
Right.
it is always a voluntary association. So it's on the, again, the onus falls on the HR to accept the reality and wish them all the best in their future. And our actions speak out, right? So if they know that they are not going to trouble me during the offboarding process, obviously the process will be smooth enough. It's developing the trust in the exiting employee.
Hmm. Yeah, fine. So we will go to the next question is best practices for employee offboarding. Okay, what all best practices uh, an HR should follow at the time of employee offboarding? Yeah,
Yeah. I will go in first.
please, please.
So um, like we earlier had discussed, first and foremost is maintaining the relation till the last moment. Whatever support, whatever respect that we can provide to that individual will always help us in the long run. Second
Mm-hmm.
is considering all the aspects about company assets, NDAs to
Mm-hmm.
be declared, or any passwords to be
Right.
declared. So that has to be handled very politically. I will not say politically, but um, in a good way, wherein
Tactfully. Yeah.
no one get hurt, because if
Yes.
we explain why it's needed, the passwords to be handed over, because the next person who is going to take over those duties is going to require it. Again, the knowledge transfer, uh, informing all the stakeholders who are involved of the process, and estimated timelines of when the knowledge transfer will happen, when it will happen. Is it to be recorded, because we are speaking of a remote work? Is it to be recorded or not? Any document to be shared mentioning all those things? And the exit interview, like I said, it's very crucial thing to uh, take feedback, because this will help the organization to improve, and obviously the new employees that will be coming in will benefit from that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I will add something, means best
Yeah.
practice, like treat employee with the respect. Then some, we can say, hands-off process. Then reset the same, as Rashmi said, keep the stakeholder to inform them, and then the great transition plan between the employee and the staff. So we can getting the feedback, the positive feedback. So it's most about the best practices.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We have one more question with us, um, wherein the participant is asking why onboarding goes smooth. Well,
Same onboarding
you get a
opposite figures.
yes.
Yes,
It's all
exactly the same.
opposite.
Yeah, it's simple.
um, like all, as I said, like all the smiley faces are around you when you are performing onboarding. You know, you
Yes,
are taking any employee in our company, in our team. So of
yes,
course, any
Everyone
new
is
member is,
excited.
yeah, if any new member is coming to your family, you get happy.
yes,
Yes, so it goes smooth. But eventually, the way
yeah.
we perform our activities, the steps we follow, so it all involves emotions, happy feelings. Yes, that's the reason it goes smooth.
Everyone puts in their best foot forward, right? So
Yeah.
everyone is excited. Even the new employee who is coming in is excited to learn everything about the organization, about the team. So when everyone is an open mind state, so things do run
Exactly.
smoothly.
Yes, yes,
it's
yes.
all it's all in the mind, right?
Right, it's all there in your mind. Yeah. Yeah. Rati, would you like to add anything on this?
Yeah, I agree with you both. Same. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, right. So, yes, I'm moving on to the next question. Is exit interviews, like, do should we take exit interviews or should we not take the exit interviews? Because at times, yes, exit interviews
Yes,
doesn't
exit
go on
interview,
a
I
positive
think,
note.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, yes. It's very necessary, means my point of view, according to my experience, it's very necessary. Means we can say we find out the way to improve companies use exit interviews to determine they can develop in certain areas. And for example, if business may decide to focus on improving relations between management and employees after hearing about their experience and existing staff member. So we can improve the something that necessary. Then we can encourage the positive outlook. Means it's a beneficial for again both. Then we can understand the employee turnover, means it more productive for the management also. And then the policies and procedures for the future we can improve uh, for the staff. So we
right,
can,
right.
yeah,
Totally agree with your
we can
points.
understand the employee turnover, we can say. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's why the
Yeah.
exit interview is very necessary. Don't know
Okay.
Rashmi's opinion, but my opinion is it's necessary.
Yes, I also
Yes.
agree what Rati is saying. Exit interviews are the most important part uh, to do because it acts as a revelation, I should say, a book of secrets. Because the exiting employee is free of all the uh, pressures, I can say, and can disclose
Yes.
a good many things that probably the individual must not be in a position to say it outright.
Of course. Of
So
course.
but it all depends on how much that person or that individual is ready to share the uh, thoughts on whatever experiences
Mhm.
they had. So
Right.
though exit interviews are important, it's not that we can have it at every point of time, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes some situations are such that uh, we do not part on good notes. So probably though we have sent a form or something, you will get a it's like a person writing a exam paper, so they just fill in some answers, and it's just a tick mark, just a formality to be completed. But yes,
Yes.
if it done beautifully, if everything goes well, this is the best place wherein we can get innovative ideas from that person, new processes that can be implemented, suggestions for employee engagement. So it is a good activity, but it all depends on how well it has gone and how much the participant is ready to you know actively give their inputs.
That I would rather say that that will be the HR's job to get the right thing out of the employee by,
True.
talking to them, discussing with them. So that entire responsibility lies on HR, even though the things are quite not well, even though, because there could be instances wherein the exit is not going on a good note, right? But still, to have that connect with the employee, and at the same time to get things out of that employee, that responsibility totally lies on the HR, is what, from my point of view. Because the cases will be different every day. It will not be um,
Every time it's
sweet
happening
things.
different things, right?
Yes, yes. So yeah, in our dish also there are dishes, with different tastes, or sweets are, spicy, something like that. So yes, every day will not be same. To handle a good exit only, there will be bad exit also to handle. Yeah. um yes, so that is what. So of exit interviews are something which are very tricky. On the other hand, I would say those handled with more of a employee emotions, and it gives a long lasting experience to the employee with the company. So on that basis, the employee will think of also that whether to come back to the company or not after some or the other time.
Sure.
Yes, so yes, exit interviews are important. It gives very good insights to the HR, which can be discussed upon with the management. And even on the other hand, it also gives information about where m- my people are going, basically, and why are they going.
Why are they going?
Yes, what is that the company is lacking in, or they have to improve upon. So yes, exit
It,
interviews are
it helps
important,
a lot.
be it anything.
Exactly.
And
Yes,
ideally,
yes,
it helps when HR acts as a third party to come in between and have that interview, so that
yeah.
that individual can present their thoughts, and we get the benefit of it. The
Hmm, hmm,
organization per se gets the benefit out
Yes,
of it.
we can improve the policies and procedure for the future employees also.
hmm, hmm. Okay, yeah. Yes, we have one question over here. So, okay, the participant is asking that on onboarding process, everything is provided very fast. Okay. But on offboarding front, things are given on a very late note. Okay, I understood. So on onboarding process, we give things on a very first day, and on offboarding, it takes time for the process to complete. Like F&F to be processed after 30 to 45 days,
Yes.
or F&F will be processed. It takes time. So why is what the question is. Yes, Rashmi.
uh, it's all about from a business angle. It's nothing personal in between.
Right.
The HR or the individual who has exited the company. But to give a insight into why the 30 days or a 40 days gap is, whenever any employee has parted ways with the organization, there are financials and knowledge involved in it. So it always the FNF is given later on when the organization gains the trust that yes, everything has been finally completed. There has been no leaks in it. No misuse has happened. It's not that the organization does not trust the person. So that's why it's nothing personal in it, but it's just a business formula. Just like why any vendors or any purchases are paid after a 30 days credit. It's as simple as that. It's a gestation period, I will say, wherein everything, the picture becomes clear of whether the things have been settled or not. Because if something later on, whenever sometimes it happens, a replacement has not been found, but still the employee exits. So whenever a new joinee comes in later on, probably after the employee has gone, then some incidences or some things can come out to be seen that yes, this was not completed or this is still pending, so which can be completed during that phase, and everyone gets to settle it out. So that's the only thing. It's a business decision, nothing per se, and it has become a rule, I can say, throughout the any industry if you take, and it is followed, because it all boils down to money, right? We work for money, we leave for money.
Right, right. But at times there are, there are other things also associated why the employees has resigned. It could be related to money, one, yes. Other things is job satisfaction, whatever activities he or she is performing, right? Or the kind of work culture he is in currently. So many things are associated with the reason. This can altogether be a different topic to discuss upon. Why employee resigns or anything. Yes. So we have one more thing to discuss. We have one more question over here. Um, Exit interview. A little too late to understand what the employee really wants. Can we set any mechanism to gather such suggestions and inputs even before the employee resigns? Well, um, um, yes. Basically, if you ask me, in exit interview, uh, definitely what the employee wants is not basically discussed. Okay, it's only discussed mostly on the front, like what is the input that the employee wants to give to the company. Why is he resigning? Okay. Well, yes, to understand why the person is resigning, yes, after any employee resigns, you can immediately have a resignation discussion with the employee to gather such information that what is the reason exactly. What do you suggest on this, Rashmi?
um, any organization, what the question is exactly right, it's a bit too late to understand what the employee wanted. And I
Right.
agree, Shraddha, what you're saying, that exit interview is not about what the employee wants, it's about how the organization can improve to not repeat this. So to understand what the employee wants is why we have feedback sessions or the appraisals or performance reviews in place, wherein or even there's no need to have any formal policies in place. Anytime if the environment is open enough, if the employee feels that yes, I want to discuss some things with my reporting manager or with my HR, they should initiate it. It's not the organization's owners, right, that always they need to initiate some kind of discussion. It's a give and take relationship. So either the employee can start a discussion, or the organization can keep interval discussions on some intervals to understand what is happening. There are feedback surveys, feedback sessions, or feedback discussions that happens. So that's one way of to understand what the employee wants. Exit interviews, I agree, are not the place to know
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yes, I think
Interview is something like all
yes,
finalized now.
yes, we can say the first impression is important. The same is last impression also it's very important. So it's a footprint, like a footprint of the employee.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So basically, um, uh, so yeah, before going ahead with the exit interview, yes, we need to connect with the employee to understand what is the reason that he has resigned, and there could be multiple reasons. So accordingly, help the employee with the further process, or talk to the management or the manager to take the discussion further, and help the management also to give the right information to the employee about how can this be taken further. And if things are not at all functioning properly, yes, then exit interview is there to check on how, what is the feedback from the employee to the company. Yes,
Right.
yes. So yeah, any other, okay, all the participants, any other question to be asked as of now?
I think we clear all the problems and all the uh, we give the solutions
We
also.
So
hope
this
so.
was a good onboarding and offboarding
Yes, really.
Yes,
Our
session today.
experience talk. Yes.
yes, yes. And before ending up the session, yes, we have only 3 minutes with us. So, yes, I thank you, Rati, and thank you, Rashmi, for participating in this session. I thank all the other participants for their participation in this session on this weekend, basically, for investing your time, your precious time in this particular session, knowledge sharing session. And yes, I thank you, Rati and Rashmi,
Yeah,
for
thank
giving
you,
your
Shraddha. You too.
valuable insights.
It's a yes, great stage for us. It's our first experience, but we should say it's not bad.
It was
Yes,
good to interact with
Yes,
you, Shraddha
really.
and Rati.
Yeah.
I
yes,
hope we could help out in giving some insights to the participants
right.
into the onboarding and offboarding process. So thanks for
Yes.
arranging, Shraddha, and hosting this. Thank you, Rati, for your insights.
Yeah, thank
Thank you
you,
very
both of
much.
you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much.
And
Yes.
yes, thank you all the participants who have asked the questions and everything. Those also helped us to put on our thoughts in
Put
front
our
of
thoughts
all of
on
you.
it.
Yeah. And yes, have a happy weekend. Stay
Happy
tuned.
weekend.
Yeah, same to you.
Yes, and
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
Sure. Bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Take
Thank you
care.
so much,
Goodbye.
Rashmi.
Take care.
Yeah, bye. Good day.
Yes.